Hey, Mind Sculpt Games is going into business in our 9th year. We've done 8 successful years in a couple months, and I have a goal to announce. It's one of those goals that I might not make, but you should try to hold me accountable because I want to make it. I want to write a second book and call it Sculpting Game Store Retail, Why We Do What We Do. And here's the plan. The plan is built on advertising, and also like this deep urge that since 2nd grade I wanted to be an author. But the plan is that I have an outline right here. And with this outline, the plan is that I will talk through the draft by telling you why we do what we do. I'll go write it down, revise it, and then once all the segments are done that I plan, that when we're in our 10th year of business, that I'll release a book about Mind Sculpt Games retail experience, why we do what we do here, and how that might help other retailers, how it might be interested to people that enjoy the hobbies like Pokemon collecting and go to 18 different card stores in the state. I don't know if there's 18 in the state, but people that immerse themselves in the culture of what we do might enjoy looking at it from the other side of the counter. So I have hopes, aspirations, and a little bit of an outline, but really, like, there's so much that I've learned in working with this business for 8 years in a physical brick and mortar. I think it's 8 years and 3 months at this point. But you know, the planning that happened beforehand, the online experience that happened since I was, 12, and looking at where we are now. And honestly, the Ignite competition asked us to be business mentors for this session, and this is the first time I've said yes. I've said no to a lot of things in the first 8 years of building a business because the grind is intense, and if I'm giving myself away to other involvements that don't build the business, I am taking away from the business. And I'm not saying we're on the other side of the hill, but in year 8 we said yes to the mentoring, mainly because it's one of Daniel's, niche passion areas. It fits well. It looks like a good setup, and that kind of awakens something, right? Like, I want to share some of the knowledge. I think we've built up a fair amount of experience. I think I have some insights and mindsets that, heck, they might be unique because I think in funny ways sometimes, but they might be helpful to other people. They might be interesting to our customers, and the process of building the story and telling you the story as we build it, making the rough drafts, the videos, being able to talk through what we do, being able to even answer questions or have you guys ask us about it so I have new ideas for it. I like storytelling. Mind Sculpt Games is really about community and people and relationships, and there's so much of the human experience that's built on relationships that is about telling the story of where you've been, where you're hoping to go, why you do, what you actually do. So I think it'll connect us better. We used to tell stories, and occasionally we still do, called Boom or Bust, and they were about the risks we took in building the business. And sometimes those risks were buying like $3,000 worth of War Machine off of one big eBay lot, and then how that parsed out on eBay and whether or not we could flip a profit off that. And a lot of those risks were first couple of year risks, right? And now, years later, we have experience where we can look back on those things, where I can give insights to, things aren't as risky now, because in a 5,000 square foot store with this much product, kind of the variety and the density will save us from a lot of risks. We're inculcated from risks because we've got some experience, and experience is worthwhile when you come out as 2 teachers who don't have experience in a degree in business, we dabbled in entrepreneurship activities, and we worked for a family business with Leech Fireworks, but this was our first business ownership experience that we did together, which is an adventure in itself. But working towards a goal for 8 years builds insights that, the risks are different, the insights are different, and maybe it's time to reflect. So here's the plan. Not going to go through all of this with you, but I think it'd be useful to explain to people like why the first third of our store is built towards casual appeal and has open spaces in it and really targets like moms and aunts and kids, and why the back of our store has the video games, you know, it's like the milk in Walmart, that type of thing. You're going to walk all the way back there if you're dedicated or a fan of that type of thing. Why the Pokemon are behind the counter. Sealed products go back there so people can't open them up themselves. Why we use formula-based buying to try to preserve our reputation as a long-term business. Because, you know, a game store that successfully runs in a small town for 8 years and aims to run for 20, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's game stores that shut down every once in a while in Kansas. If you are like a Pokemon fan that's been a fan for 10 years and goes and hunts all across the state for different Pokemon singles, or you enjoy the store experience, so whenever you're in a town, you go visit one, you might notice that they change a bit. 8 years is a sign of longevity in this industry. And maybe getting there with, you know, buying off formula is something that builds reputation, builds longevity. You can't screw somebody with your emotions or, I can get him, because you buy off the formula, but that sense of trust, that long-term sacrifice in like not taking advantage of people and buying off formula, that allows you to go the home stretch. You know, maybe why we stock deep on sturdy lines, why Warhammer Box 200 is worth investing in as a store or even as a customer because of the price appreciation that goes through on some of their short print stuff. How we do dollar per square foot end of year rankings, what happens when we go to toy fairs and the difference in buying in person or buying with a multiple people crew versus data analysis of one person at a computer and our success rates on those. Why we want to buy durable collectibles in bulk like Lego or Hot Wheels, and then how that turns into advertising because we can build unique collections. You know, I think there's a lot of unique experiences that I've had in 8 years of running Mind Sculpt Games in small town Kansas. You know, our 15-mile radius is probably about 17 to 18,000 people. And talking about things that are unique to us, but also things that maybe are universal in advertising or marketing or store appeal or merchandising or selection or the Pokemon market, and just making a story that's interesting. 1, if you know us. 2, if you enjoy this store. 3, if you have an interest in capitalism or retail or merchandising or marketing. Or 4, if you just like local interest stories. So that's the plan. See how it goes. I'm sure I'll add to that. You know, it's a good thing that Google Docs can be edited. But we're gonna try it. Gonna try once a week segments. See how far we get. That gives me some writing duties afterwards, and then hopefully an end product when we're 10 years in to running a successful family game store run by a family. And see if that gives us some knowledge or insight that might be interesting coming out of the writing book of a female owner. So there's the plan. It's hopeful. Sometimes it's audacious to announce your goals to other people. But hey, maybe you'll join in the storytelling and watch it or share it or ask questions or help me build insights. You can be part of the process. Maybe the book will be pretty fulfilling to write for me as a person, and maybe it'll have some impact out there. And hey, maybe it'll bring some new customers in that they see these goofy things are, hey, not goofy this time, knowledgeable things that I talk about online. And then they come visit the store and trust us and do business with us, whether buying or selling, and then come to appreciate what Mind Sculpt Games can offer and the community that helped build it. So here's to it. Sculpting the Game Store Retail Experience, year 10. That gives me about a year and a half to work on this. That's the audacious plan. Wish me luck, curse me, ask me questions, suggest an outline, whatever you want to do. We're building it.